Acid mine drainage, or AMD, poses major environmental devastation both locally in Pennsylvania and worldwide. Here, billions of gallons of untreated water impact over 5,500 miles of waterways. AMD pollution occurs when mining operations expose sulfide minerals to air and water, causing a chemical reaction that produces sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid dissolves toxic metals like iron, aluminum, and manganese into nearby water sources, which can kill aquatic life, degrade soil, and damage vegetation. In agriculture, fisheries, and tourism industries suffer economic loss due to contaminated and dead waterways. Acidic water can cause corrosion to infrastructure and pipelines, which require maintenance costs and repairs. Communities in proximity to an AMD site face health risks due to contaminated drinking water and consuming contaminated fish.
AMD is an addressable environmental issue. Cooperation between environmental engineers, chemists, and the mine industries responsible can significantly reduce or even reverse the negative effects. Passive treatment on AMD includes construction of wetlands to take advantage of their ability to sequester contaminants and support microbial action, as well as active treatment involving buffering waterways using limestone, liquid lime, and other neutralizing agents to raise pH levels to make heavy metals precipitate out and then can be safely removed. In 2007, prior to AMD remediation, the Bear Run watershed totaled one fish species at its mouth and one fish species downstream. In 2012, after an installation of 9 passive and active AMD treatment systems were completed through the Bear Run Mine Drainage Remediation Watershed Renaissance Project, 8 fish species returned to the headwaters and 5 returned downstream, including native brook trout and wild brown trout species. If AMD sites are left untreated, waters will continue to become biologically dead zones, and outdoor recreation sites become inaccessible hazard zones for humans and animals alike. Careless coal mining practices taken place in western Pennsylvania over 100 years ago still scar the landscape and streams. Once the many mines went dry and a company went out of business, they were often abandoned without consideration of the future generations that would inhabit the region.
On top of its negative effects on ecosystems and human health, the severity of AMD is magnified in impoverished areas. The extraction of coal does both great environmental and social harm. Appalachia has been exploited for coal production since the start of the Industrial Revolution. Coal mine workers experienced high rates of disease, high rates of workplace fatalities, and were stuck in poverty with company towns or other similar exploitative systems. Today, as coal mining has been decreasing and has become increasingly mechanized, it has led to severe lack of jobs, causing high rates of poverty. The intense poverty of the region makes healthcare unaffordable and inaccessible, so much so that in some areas, remote area medical doctors must come in and provide it free through charity. Rates of cancer, obesity, and drug abuse are high across much of Appalachia and the rest of America. Lack of money makes it difficult to restore lands and ecosystems destroyed by coal mining, because mine companies rarely, if ever, take financial responsibility for cleanup of their mines. While the earliest operators from 100 years ago are no longer in existence, since 1977, the Surface Mine Control and Reclamation Act has placed the responsibility for land restoration and reclamation on modern-day existing coal plant operators. Still, communities must work with their local and federal governments and must amass watershed volunteer-based help to restore both the environment and community's pride. However, if we implement proper mining practices and construct treatment facilities to remove toxic metals from drainage water before it enters nearby water body, and raise local community awareness about AMD sites that could affect their water, we can significantly reduce the environmental impact.